The idea, the Geek Gods Arena, the mastermind. That's me, Matt Johnson, an entrepreneur extraordinaire who wants to change the future of gaming in a retrospective kind of way. Remember playing D&D or Risk or Monopoly or some other type of board game as a kid? Of course you do. You're a well-adjusted adult who didn't rely on video games for the thrill of a non-existent, yet oh-so-realistic kill. You played to have fun. And with a little help from your friends, your basement was transformed into a medieval dungeon where you would face down dragons. I believe the skill of imagination is lost on a whole generation of gamers. So today, I would like to change that. Before I break down my plan step by step, I need to tell you what I need to start my world domination attempt. First, I need $50,000 realistically to get this started. I know that number seems a little too big, so I'm going to start with a $20,000 minimum to ensure that my vision comes to fruition. Even on a small scale, the breakdown of the funds are as follows. 25% will go to rent for 3 to 8 months, depending on funding provided. 25% will go into starting inventory to our distributors for Games Workshop, Wizards of the Coast, and other manufacturers. 10% will go into decorations and store shelves to make sure that we can stock our items properly. 10% will go into office supplies so we can record transactions and keep track of incoming and outgoing products. 10% will be for insurance and unforeseen accidents so that if we are robbed or have a fire or flood, we are covered. 5% will go into fees and bills and licensing to make sure that the building is up to code and that we are a legal shop. 5% will go into liquid change for the store so that we can process cash transactions. 5% will be reserved for incentives so that we can deliver on our promises. The last 5% will be for advertising for future campaigns and coupons for future customers. First, we need to organize our resources, and that means collect from our crowdfund. Once we have that money, we will take it to our location on 320th and Pacific Highway and book our retail spot. This location is located in the center of Seattle and Tacoma, two big cities in the Pacific Northwest. We have an on and off ramp exit for the freeway for easy access, as well as local stores and restaurants. Once we have our location pinned and ready, we will order our stock so that companies like Games Workshop, Magic the Gathering, and Pathfinder will be able to find us and we will be able to sell their product. We will also order graphic novels from major competitors like Marvel, DC, and Dark Horse. We will then begin to set up shop. Now we have the prep stage. First, we spread coupons for family items and miniatures such as Risk, Monopoly, Connect 4, and miniatures for board games such as Warhammer, Warhammer Fantasy, and Dungeons & Dragons. We hold a test opener where we gather gamers and put on a small tournament. After the tournament, we fix any glitches with the setup to make sure that items can be easily gotten to while gamers are in session. We will finally prep for our next display and opening of the store on October 1st. Now for the most important part. We open our doors on October 1st, no later. Every weekend, we hold a tournament for all 4 of the big games: D&D, Magic the Gathering, Risk, and a crowd favorite. The championship round for the tournament will be on October 31st, where we will stay open till midnight until we decide the winner. Grand prize will be determined by me and the top 3 donators at a later date. Afterwards, we will organize after-school activities for teens to help spread interest in tabletop gaming. We will then become the biggest gaming arena in the Northwest and hopefully retain that title for years ahead of time. The most important part of this process will be to forge our alliances. First, we will merge with a local comic shop to help increase our stock and our share of customers, meaning we can take their customers and introduce them to board games, while we can take our board game customers and introduce them to comics, increase our back issue orders. We will get involved with school programs to help promote games, like I said before. We will get parents to trust us, not only as a shop or a company for their kids to spend money at, but as a neighborhood tradition for them and their kids to spend time at as well. Mostly, we want to create a positive gaming atmosphere with the community, someplace that people can trust their whole family to be at, someplace that can bring people together. Our last step will be expansion, and this is a step that we really, really would love to achieve. We would like to move into a building large enough to accommodate multi-floor services. On one floor, we will have the shop and all items. On another floor, we will have private and public tables, as well as a bar to accommodate those over 21. The incentives are just as grand as the idea. At level 1, we have Noob. A $500 donation will receive a sheet of perks to choose from. Some range from free miniatures to deals on websites or in-store and a monthly newsletter. We have our Gamer perk, which is $1,000. You will receive a sheet of perks and you or your company's name written in gold paint on a wall of heroes and a monthly newsletter subscription. Elite will be $5,000, a sheet of perks, 2 plaques, one to be sent at your home and one to be placed on our wall of heroes, as well as a monthly newsletter subscription. Our Geek Hero will be $8,000, and this will only be reserved for 5 people. But you will receive a small bust of you, characterized in your choice of body, as well as one to display in a podium in store. A sheet of perks, a monthly newsletter, as well as a weekly update via Skype on the store progress and what directions we are taking. And our coup de grace, Geek God Nerdicus, $10,000, max 3 people. A life-size cardboard cutout of you will be placed in the store until we have the chance to upgrade to a stone statue. A plaque to hang on our wall as well as yours to say thank you. A sheet of perks as well as a monthly newsletter and weekly updates via Skype as well as partial creative control and input on how I operate my store. I know I am asking a lot. It's more about what we will gain. A location for people with common interests to socialize and create. A safe haven for parents who don't want children to grow up as video game zombies. A nerdtopia of epic proportions. To close, I would like to thank you all for listening to my pitch. Please remember, imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you desire, you will what you imagine, and at last, you create what you will. Mr. George Bernard Shaw. Thank you. And good night.